development. We have for our speaker, Normita Pagkatipunan, the Supervising Statistical Specialist, and she'll cover an exact example of what's happening in our country. You know, we cannot proceed without correct information. In fact, I'd like to say that this is a very big lack in our country. It was mandated in 1997 to have a market information system by a law. And up to now, that is not being done. That is why, to be honest with you, some people want to go to the Supreme Court and complain about this. But thankfully, this year, after all our advocacy, and in fact, our foundation was instrumental in that, because we're currently sitting as one of the chairs of the committee of the group that is mandated by law, called the Philippine Council of Agriculture and Fisheries. Since we're pushing for the first time, they have a big budget, around 100 million because before that, I would complain that whereas Kadiwa would get 40% and 20% go to youth, we would get 0.7% for market information. And there was, in fact, a statement we go to the Supreme Court to complain. But this year we corrected it. And in light of this correction, we are cooperating now with the Statistical PSA, Philippine Statistical Authority. So Philippine Statistical Authority does all the statistics with some agriculture. The agriculture component we're complaining about is for the first time being done. As a matter of fact, we'd like to say that we're instrumental because we made it even a conditionality recorded in a Senate ratification document that unless they give this to us, we will oppose the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, and they put it in. So that's finally happening. But, you know, consistent with this, we have the PSA, which does statistics of everything. But part of that, of course, not only the context for agriculture, but agricultural statistics will be there. And we're privileged to have today Normita Pagkatipunan. She is actually going to talk to us about the specific example of how this happens. The Quezon province census of agriculture and fisheries. Without information, we cannot move. Okay, she looked at the scope and coverage. She gives the methodology, she gives the activities. But who is she? She's very qualified because she's the supervising person of the Philippine Statistical Authority with 25 years of service. And she's very qualified to do this because she's a Master of Public Administration from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. And Normita, as we proceed, we'd like to have a personal relationship because we have two performance indicators for this forum. The first one is, do we do the forums every week? We've done it for 15 years, thanks to our departed chair who's gone, but the continuing force, the wind behind his wings and our wings today is burning up. Sure, we're 100% success in that. The second indicator, Normita, is what we can do with the information in this forum to have agriculture development. Because our departed chair said, it's nice to have technology, but we need technology transfer, or else we're not helping anyone. So Normita, two questions before you start. First, maybe 5 or a few minutes to tell us how you got involved in this and why you're passionate about this, you know? How you got involved, you know, what made you interested in this and why you really are passionate about this. And the second one later is basically what we can do to help you. Or, yeah, because we'll ask how you can help us, of course, but oriented is what we can do to help you spread the good work you're doing. All right. Sometimes it's telling people about you. Sometimes it's, you know, for your agency, maybe to have contacts with other people, because in our group, we have some former secretaries who can reach some people, etc. No? So first of all, Normita, what has brought you to where you are today? How did you come in here to this work? And what do you really like about your work, right? And the second one is, how can we help you spread your work? So with that, Normita, I'd like to turn the floor over to you to start your talk. Normita, thank you for coming.
Again, everyone, being the Supervising Statistical Specialist of PSA Quezon, during the hiring process pa lang po, they select po yung mga qualification in choosing the as being the supervisor po ng Philippine Statistics Authority, and I qualified with the position, and then yung 25 years in service po, being from the ground pa lang po, from being an enumerator or data collector from the field. We conducted surveys, censuses, handling supervision of enumerators and data collectors from various surveys of censuses, and I also engage in the data processing of yung census and survey results ng various surveys conducted by the PSA. So and with my colleagues, we are very trained doon sa mga proseso in various process po na data collection, processing, and validation of census and survey result. And nowadays, we have the new technology on how to gather data using the Android tablets or yung po ating mga what we call the computer-aided personal interviewing, wherein we are using the Android tablet. The system is already embedded in the tablet, and the enumerators gathers the data through computer-aided personal interview. And there are good points in using the Android tablets for the copy, because the census results or the survey results are very easy to handle. Like the skipping errors, the skipping errors are omitted using this new innovation in data collection. And then we are focused here dito sa discussion ko with the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries, wherein we hired qualified enumerators and supervisors to handle the enumeration in all the municipalities and cities of the province. So the outline of my presentation includes the general objective of the Census of Agriculture and Fisheries, its target respondents, the reference period, and data items to be collected, and period, and the enumeration procedure. Next is the data appreciation that we prepared for you, specifically for the Quezon province alone. This is based on the result of the 2012 Census of Agriculture. And number 5 are the coordination activities being done by the province to drum up the support of the public and other stakeholders about the census. And next is the 2022 CAF schedule, or the schedule of major activities. So as a start, let us first define what is the Census of Agriculture and Fisheries. I proceed. The 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries is a large-scale government undertaking that is geared towards the collection and compilation of basic information on the agricultural and fisheries sector in the country. The conduct of a census is expensive. Henceforth, the EO 352 provides for the conduct of the Census of Agriculture every 10 years only. This is the legal basis in conducting the Census of Agriculture and Fisheries. Yet the benefits outweighs the costs, since the data to be collected will serve as important basis of our government in making policies, development plans, and programs for the country's socio-economic development. The 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries is the 7th in a series of decennial agricultural census and the 6th in decennial census of fisheries in the country since 1903. It adopts the guideline outlined in the World Program of the Census of Agriculture as recommended by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. The sample-based census, due to budgetary constraints, is being implemented. Not all the barangays in every province and municipalities are being sampled in this census round. So let's move on to the general objective of the census. The 2022 CAF is envisioned to achieve the following objectives. Number one is to determine the structural characteristics of agriculture and fisheries sectors in the country. Two is to provide basic information on the crop farming, livestock, poultry, aquaculture, and fishing operations. Number three is to provide the sampling frame for the conduct of periodic agricultural and fishery surveys being conducted by the Philippine Statistics Authority. Number four is to provide data on agricultural, aquaculture, and fishery facilities and services available in the barangay. So let us move to the scope and coverage of the census. And what are the units of enumeration for the 2022 CAF? The households. At second is the barangays. The target respondents for the household are the operators of crops, livestock, poultry, insect, worms, culturing, aquaculture, and our fishing activity during the period January 1 to December 31, 2022. And the operator, as we define, is a person who exercises management control over the agricultural fisheries operation and takes major decisions regarding the resource use. On the other hand, barangay interview mainly aims to gather information on the presence and availability of machinery, equipment, facility, input dealers, and service providers related to agriculture, aquaculture, and fisheries in the barangay. And our target respondents for this is the punong barangay or any incumbent barangay officials. So what are the data to be collected in the 2022 CAF? Specifically, for this census, we would like to gather information on the structural characteristics of the operations and growing of crops, raising livestock and poultry, culturing insects and worms, aquaculture, and fishing activities during the period January 1 to December 31, 2022. This is why we call it 2022 CAF, because the year 2022 refers to the reference period to be captured in this census. For the operations and growing of crops, the characteristics of holding farm or parcel of the operator will be gathered, such as the size of farm or holding, number of parcels used, the location of the parcels or holding, the tenure status, and its main use. While the common information to be machineries, equipment, and facilities used or owned, workers, laborers, and technical and financial superator, and then the challenges, problems encountered, Philippine Identification Survey dito sa 2022. The common information to be collected: sex, age, highest educational attainment, marital status. The Philippine ID registration, aquaculture and or fishing operations, ownership of grants, assistance, payment received from the government. While the data to be collected at the barangay level are the following: the major agricultural fishery commodities, the facilities, machineries, equipment for agriculture and fisheries, input dealers, service providers, the communal vegetable gardens or farms, natural calamity in the past 5 years. So what are the methodology being used in the census? So you may be wondering how the interviews will be conducted. The interview methods, let us start with the CAPI. This is the house-to-house visit using the computer-aided personal interview with Android tablets. And our enumerator will be going door to door to carry out the interviews using the CAPI method or the computer-aided personal interview. What makes the census truly groundbreaking is that this will be the first census in the country to utilize tablets nationwide for recording the responses of our interviewees. This cutting-edge approach will not only ensure accuracy, but also expedite the processing of census results, paving the way for a quicker access to crucial data. While the paper and pencil interview or the PAPI will also be utilized only for the cases where CAPI is not feasible due to high risk in areas with security issues. And as a temporary solution, we use the PAPI. And we also have the telephone interview. If our respondent opted to choose being interviewed through the telephone, but still our enumerator used the CAPI or the Android tablets in recording the responses of respondents through telephone interview. And those who opted to use the self-administered questionnaires are also those who are not available during the interview or the door-to-door visit of the enumerators of the PSA. And our respondents through staff will be the one to answer it. And this will be collected by our designated enumerators in the area. So the Philippine Statistics Authority needs to hire enumerators for this census. Nationwide, we have a total of 15,841 enumerators, and from Region 4A, we hired a total of 1,294 enumerators. And for Quezon Province, we hired 314 enumerators. And for the census area supervisors, the Philippines hired 1,114 census area supervisor, and the Calabarzon region hired 90 census area supervisor. And for Quezon Province alone, we hired 22 census area supervisor. And same count with this assistant census area supervisor. And the team supervisor in Quezon Province has a total of 63. We will closely supervise the enumerators to ensure that the concept and the procedure on how to use the CAPI is being implemented accurately or appropriately. So the enumeration period runs from September 4 to October 25, 2023. And we are hoping to complete this by the end of October 25. But during this period, we will need the full cooperation of our fellow men to participate in the conduct of the census. That's why we are having so many campaigns, radio guesting, info dissemination campaign, posting of streamer posters to drum up the support of the public and inform them about the ongoing census operation. So what is the enumeration? What are the enumeration procedures being employed in the census? First, the enumeration will commence by listing all the household using the CAF Form 1 or the listing booklet, which gathers information about the household. In cases where no operator is found within the household, the enumerator will seamlessly move on to the next household in the enumeration process. If the household listed as at least one household member who is identified as operator in CAF Form 1, the enumerator continue the interview using the CAF Form 2 or the household questionnaire. And then the appropriate CAF forms, depending on the activity of the operator, whether they be involved in the agriculture, aquaculture, and fishing. So upon the completion of the interview, the enumerators will post the notice of listing or the sticker as an indicator that the household has already got the enumeration process. So let me share with you some of the highlights in the 2012 results of the Census of Agriculture and Fisheries. While we are already anticipating for the results of the 2022 CAF, allow us to take you back on some of the highlights of the results of the CAF 10 years ago. Or the 2012 census, including crop farming, livestock and poultry activities. The total number stood at approximately 85%. Image. 85% were male operators, while the remaining 15% were aquaculture. There were 2,000 operators, 92% were male operators, and remaining 8% were female operators. Shifting focus to municipal fishing operation, the count reached more than 30,000 operators in the year 2012, with males constituting 99% and females comprising a modest 1%. These figures evidently portray a strong male dominance in the agriculture and fishery sector. The query that arises is whether this trend of gender distribution will persist in the 2022 CAF. So let's wait for the result ng ating 2022 CAF. So moving on to figure 2, we are also counting the number of farms by type of crop planted on the farm parcels during the reference period. Palay topped the temporary crops in terms of number of farm parcels at 35,000 parcels. By the way, temporary crops refer to the crops that are grown seasonally and whose growing cycle is less than 1 year. Following the palay in the hierarchy is the string beans, occupying 7,000 parcels, and corn, cassava, and eggplant, encompassing 5,000 parcel each. Can we anticipate the continued prominence of these 5 temporary crops for the 2022 CAF? So figure 3 shows the top 5 permanent crops planted in compact planting in terms of the number of farms parcels. Permanent crops refers to the long-term crops which do not have to be replanted for several years. This include the coconut trees at 89.3 thousand parcels, banana at 7,000 parcels, mandarin or dalanghita at 800 parcels, mango at 400 parcels, and calamansi at 300 parcels. So figure 4 shows the top 5 types of livestock in terms of the number of farms. This include the hogs, pigs at almost 60,000 farms, carabao at 38,000 farms, cattle at 24,000 farms, horse at almost 11,000 farms, and goat at 9,000 farms. Figure 5 shows the type of poultry in terms of the number of farms. The chicken top at almost 100,000 farms. Far second is duck at 4,000 farms, and far third is quail at 237 farms. So then in figure 6, we are showing here the top 5 types of species cultured in 2012 in terms of the number of aqua farms. These include tilapia at 931 farms, milkfish at the 841 aqua farms, mud crab at 659 aqua farms, and white shrimp at 155 aqua farms. Lastly, in figure 7, it shows the number of municipal fishing operation by category of fishing. In 2012, we had a total of 33,000 municipal fishing operators, wherein 31,000 are primarily involved in marine fishing, and approximately 1,789 are mainly involved in inland fishing. Regarding the coordination activities, to boost our information dissemination campaign and help us in our coordination activities for the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries, the national government agencies were enjoined to support the 2022 CAF. The memorandum circulars, orders, memorandum, announcement, office orders, letters of supports, and other issuances, circulars prepared, issued by various national government agencies in support to the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries. The regional line agencies, the local government units, and the academe are to undertake publicity and information campaign among its personnel, the stakeholders, and clientele by posting, sharing the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries information and publicity materials, or IEC materials, online through official websites and social media accounts. And the Provincial Statistics Committee of Quezon, this is the highest policy-making body in the province, which serve as the provincial census coordinating board to the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries. And the PCCB also serve as the basic coordinating mechanism to the 2022 Census of Agriculture at the provincial level to ensure the success of the census operation. So this is the initiatives being done by the province to inform the public about the ongoing census operation. We already conducted the convening of the local census coordinating board or meetings. And we conducted series of, we have done with the trainings of the supervisor or training of the enumerators last month. We conducted it in 2 batches of trainings. The batch 1 was conducted, batch 2 was conducted last August 20. To 29. So already conducted sample households. Major activities. For 2022. The task force training was conducted in the central office, ends in July 24, while the second level training was conducted in July 31, but the actual conduct of the second level training in the Quezon province was on August 2 to 8. And the third level training was conducted with clusters of city or municipalities, since the 2022 Census for Agriculture and Fisheries are only sample-based census, and not all barangays are being covered for this census round. Then the data processing. The enumeration commences in September 4 and we are hoping to complete the enumeration by October 25. Then the data processing trainings will be conducted from September to October 2023, while data processing at Data Processing Center will run from November 6 to 30, 2023. And then afterwards, we have until March 29, 2024 to release the preliminary results of the 2022 CAP. Then the final results will be published on staggered basis starting July 24, 2024, by next year. So that's all for the overview of the implementation of the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Quezon Province. And we have another presentation for you. This is the current data that we have from January to June 2023 from various surveys and that the PSA is being conducted periodically. Okay, for the next presentation, this is some of the selected agricultural statistics of Calabarzon region from January to June 2023. And we focus more on the volume of agricultural production of Calabarzon from January to June this year. For the following subsectors like crops, the livestock, poultry, and fisheries. For the crop subsector statistics, we have the palay production survey and the corn production survey. The PPS and the CPS generate estimates on the palay corn production, the area, yield, and other production-related data that serve as inputs for policymaking and programs on palay and rice and corn. The production data generated are inputs to value of production in agriculture and fisheries, and accordingly to the preparation of the gross domestic product, gross regional domestic product, and the provincial counterpart na wino-work out namin nowadays, the provincial product accounts or provincial domestic product. So let's start with the palay. The Calabarzon region ranks 13th with 2.8% share to the country's total production, and we reach a total of 252,317 metric tons palay production during the first semester of 2023, and it's up by 6.3% from its same level in 2022. At Quezon Province ang nagdala po dito with which contributed 46.5% share to total regional production. In the Philippines, nangunguna po the first province, which is number 1 in palay production, is the Region 3. And for corn, the Calabarzon region ranks 14th with 0.6% share to the country's total production. And number 1 po dito ang Quezon Province with a total of 62.4 share to the total regional production of corn. So another one is the Crops Production Survey. The CRPS is a quarterly survey which aims to generate basic production statistics for crops other than palay and corn at the national and subnational levels. The 22 major crops under the other crops subsector are highlighted in the value of production in Philippine agriculture and fisheries. The CRPS covers more than 280 crops subclassified under the 3 commodity groupings, namely the non-food industrial crops, the fruit crops, and the third is the vegetable and root crops. There are specialized commodity agencies which also generate production-related statistics, such as the Sugar Regulatory Administration, or the SRA, the Philippine Coconut Authority, or the PCA, the Philippine Fiber Industry Development Authority, or the PhilFIDA, National Tobacco Administration, and the PSA adopts the production data of SRA on canes milled for centrifugal sugar, while those from PCA, PhilFIDA, and NTA, these serve as inputs Their data serves as inputs in the review and validation of estimates of the data we collected from the field. Basic production statistics for crops, danpalay, and corn at the national or subnational levels. And its uses the production data generated from the CRPS are inputs to the value of production in Philippine agriculture and fisheries, and accordingly to the preparation of the gross domestic product or the GDP. Moreover, the survey supports the data needs of planners, policy and decision makers, and other stakeholders in the agriculture sector, particularly the National Economic and Development Authority, the Department of Agriculture, and its attached agencies such as the Bureau of Plant Industry, the Philippine Council for Agriculture and Fisheries, and the general public. So let us move to the presentation po ng ating top commodities po in Calabarzon region. So for the coconut production, the percent share to the country's total production for coconut, and it's up by 0. Quezon province is the biggest contributor for this type of commodity, with 83.7. And in the Philippines, number 1 for coffee, the Calabarzon region ranks 6 with 6.5% share to the total. The province is the major contributor for this commodity production of Calabarzon region. For sugarcane, the Calabarzon regions produce 654,218 metric tons of sugar canes, and it ranks 4th with 5.7% share to the total production of the country. And this is down by 29.1% compared to the same level in 2022. And the Batangas province contributed the major share of Calabarzon with 86.9% to the total regional production. On the other hand, for cacao, the Calabarzon region ranks 11th with 0.8% share to the country's total production of cacao at 36.58 metric tons, and it increased by 27.43% from its same level in 2022. And the Quezon province is the top producer of cacao in the region with 57.2% share to the total regional production. For banana, Calabarzon region ranks 11 with 1.0% share to the country's total production at 42,345 metric tons, and this decreased by 10.8% compared to its same level in 2022. And Quezon province is the biggest contributor in Calabarzon in banana production with at 44.6% share to the total regional production. And for calamansi, the Calabarzon region ranks 5th with 9.8% share to the total production of the nation for calamansi at 2,637 metric tons. And this is down by 0.4% compared to its same level in 2022. And Quezon province again is the top producer of calamansi in Calabarzon, contributing 73.1% share to the total regional production. For pineapple, Calabarzon region ranks 4th with 4.3% share to the total pineapple production of the country at 60,118 metric tons. And this is up by 3.4% share to the total, comparing to the results of the January to June 2022 production. And Cavite ranks first in the region, contributing 76.6% to the total regional production of pineapple. And then for mango, the Calabarzon regions ranks 8 with 6.9% share to the country's total production of mango at 47,781 metric tons. And this is up by 11.5%. And the Batangas province contributed the biggest shares of 74.1% to the total regional production. For tomato, Calabarzon region ranks third with 8.1% share to the country's total production of tomato at 13,154. And this is down by 2.9%. The biggest contributor for this commodity is Quezon province with 42.9% share to the total regional production of tomato. Next is eggplant. The Calabarzon regions ranks fourth with 6.3% share to the total production of eggplant of the country at 11,346 metric tons. And this is up by 3.6% comparing to the same level results in January to June 2022. And the top producer of eggplant in Calabarzon is the Quezon province also, with 74.2% share to the total regional production. Next is sweet potato. The Calabarzon region ranks 7th with 5.3% share to the total production at 13,625 metric tons. And this is down by 3.4% share compared to the same level results in January to June 2022. Again, Quezon province is the top producer of sweet potato in Calabarzon region with a share of 86.8%. Next is cassava, where the Calabarzon regions ranks 9th with 2.2% share to the total production at 25,831 metric tons. And this is down by 0.4%. Comparing to its same level result last year. The Quezon province is also the top producer of cassava in the region. Next is squash, where the Calabarzon regions rank fourth with 12.8% share to the total production of the country for squash at 14,817 metric tons. And this decreased by 1.1% comparing to its, and again, Quezon province is the biggest producer of 6%. And then for ampalaya, the bitter gourd, the Calabarzon reached third with 12.6%, 1,529 metric tons. And this is slightly in same level in January to June 2022. And again, Quezon province is the top producer of bitter gourd in Calabarzon, 7% share to the total regional production of Calabarzon. For bitter regions rank 7th with 33.1% share to the country's total production of string beans. And Quezon province, 4% share to the total regional production. And for cabbage, percent share to the country's total cabbage production. And Laguna province contributed the biggest share of 70.2% share to the total regional production. And for chayote, the Calabarzon region ranks 7th with 3.1% share to the total production of the country. And this is down by sorry. This is down by 5.8% share. And then the Quezon province is the biggest contributor of chayote in the region, with 75% share to the total regional production. And for black pepper, the Calabarzon region for this time ranks first with 83.4% share to the total production of black pepper in the country at 614.7 metric tons. And Batangas province is the #1 contributor of black pepper in the region with a share of 95.2%. For livestock and poultry survey for household and establishments, ito naman po yung ating isa pa rin sa, and this is one of the surveys being conducted by the PSA, the Livestock and Poultry Surveys. And this aims to generate estimates on the supply, disposition, and other related data of livestock and poultry commodities from household and establishments. And then, for swine or hogs or pigs, the Calabarzon region ranks first with 13.4% share to the country's total swine production at 155,207 metric tons. And this is up by 16.9% compared last year, the same level last year. And then for cattle, Calabarzon region ranks second with 10.8% share to the total production of cattle at 12,357. And this is down by 4.2% share. Well, for this presentation, we only highlighted the results at the regional level. Wala po kaming na-present. We have no specific details on what provinces contributed in this particular commodities. For goat, the Calabarzon regions ranks 8 with 6.7% share to the total production of the country at 2,109 metric tons. And this result increased by 7.3% compared to the same level in January to June last year. For Carabao, the Calabarzon regions rank 6 with 6.6% share to the total Carabao production of the country at 4,092 metric tons. And this decreased to 0.5% compared to its same level production in 2022.
Thank you. Yeah. And then before we close, can you tell us, how can we help you spread your good work? Can you help me by telling people to cooperate more? I mean, how can we help you? Because we want to help your very good work. Do you have any suggestions for us in this audience or watching worldwide? Other than cooperating with the service, of course, we'll cooperate. Is there any way we can help your work, Normita?
Okay, sir.
Maybe ask how we can help your work. Do you have any suggestions for us?
One of our good points while we are doing good campaign, when we have surveys and censuses, because of our strong media partners relationship, good media relationship, and strong collaboration with other stakeholders about the ongoing census operation. And we also have that Provincial Statistics Committee wherein all concerns on statistical matters are being discussed during the meetings of the Provincial Statistics Committees. And we also coordinated with the local government units. We asked for their support, their assist undertake to ensure that the results of the census are successful, and we meet the complete coverage of the data collection in all the samples at our level. Okay, we would like to ask the support of our the public in or our respondents in answering the all the statistical undertakings of the PSA, like yung mga the periodic surveys that we conducted, and of course this time that we have the Census of Agriculture and Fisheries, we seek the support of our media partners to help us in the IEC campaign and inform the public about our projects, about the surveys, the census that we conduct periodically. And of course, the census, we conducted the press launch last time in September 2 to drum up the support of the local media partners to reach the other municipalities and inform them about the ongoing census operation, the 2022 Census of Agriculture and Fisheries. And the central office also implemented we have celebrity endorsers para mas greater yung campaign that being implemented by the PSA to reach all the people in the Philippines who are sampled for this census.
Okay, on that note, well, we would like to help in the campaign. Some of us are newspaper people here, some have television connection. So we'd like to thank you for this. Of course, we have 1 hour to do the open for more discussion. So Normita, we'd like to thank you for this. Please stay with us because we have to learn so much. And what we have done for this session is we find out Normita is someone who knows what she's doing. She started from the ranks, and she gives an excellent picture of the whole context, and she gives an excellent picture of what happens in Quezon. And as we know, this is used to get policies. And she also told us that we can help in the sense that we can spread it some more, and we can call her office and even go to her office to find out more information. So on that note, we'd like to present the Certificate of Appreciation. Vivian, can you show the Certificate of Appreciation, please? We'd like to thank you, Normita, for being a resource person today. We'll send this to you. And on that note, we'd like to close this session. Perhaps we can give the next week as forum, so people watching internationally can find out. Vivian, can you show the next slide? I think you have another slide, which is the topic for next week. Am I correct? Yes. The topic for next week is the barangay management system with Christine Mandigma, the Chief Executive Officer of Viber Group. It's very important because action happens in the barangay. So it's very important that we know this so we can really operate at the grassroots. Okay, thank you, Vivian.